Chief Lloyd Phillips is live in the KTV studios to respond to recent discussions on K103's Partyline Talkshow and the recently announced First Nations policing agreement and RCMP Taskforce on tobacco. And joining us live in studio right now is Chief Lloyd Phillips. Thanks for coming in, Lloyd. Just some final thoughts on that gas tax story. Since we taped that interview, K103 had their month in review Partyline talk show, and they talked about this whole issue, and a few things were not quite correct. So if you'd like to just give me...
Well, I mean, just again, maybe to set the record straight, just to be clear, I don't want to belabor the point any longer, but I know some comments were made that about either I said or somebody from council said that we had a gag order on us, and I was very clear in the meeting, at the community meeting, that council didn't view this as a gag order, and actually those words were a community member who said, "Oh, council, you have a gag order on you," and we never said those words. We said we received a lawyer's letter, which we want to assess prior to making any definitive statements publicly, because we received it at 11th hour, just before the meeting, so we didn't really have time to assess it either politically or legally. So we just erred on the side of safety, but certainly a gag order was not our words.
Okay, I hope that's clear. Policing, they announced the funding deal for 5 years. You were in Ottawa a couple of weeks back, taking part in these meetings, so if you could just give us a...
Yeah, sure. I mean, for the past couple of months, actually, and more recently, in the past few weeks, we've been hearing a lot of rumors of the non-renewal of the funding for First Nations policing across Canada. Very alarming, especially for Kahnawake in particular. I mean, we do receive dollars from the federal government to sustain the peacekeepers. So we definitely had to take a proactive approach. Along myself and many chiefs from the Quebec region held I guess a lobby session, a meeting session with members from the opposition parties of Canada to raise the questions in the House of Commons directly to the minister, forcing him to respond to what he's going to do with the First Nations policing. It seemed to be very successful because afterwards we did have a press conference. There was a lot of media that was present, and it did put the pressure on the government. And lo and behold, a couple of days later, Vic Taves, the Minister of Public Safety Canada, made an announcement that they will renew the First Nations policing policy funding for next 5 years, which is a good thing. We don't have to start looking for revenues other ways to fund the peacekeepers. It's one of the main sources in which we access dollars. Okay. So again, it's a positive development, and it's something that we're going to look for a long-term arrangement with the government for our peacekeepers.
It's nice to see that the work that you guys do over there actually does get some positive.
Yeah, well, I know a lot of times people will question, how come you're in Ottawa, how come you're here, how come you're there? I mean, sometimes these efforts of working together with other First Nations or working on our own on occasion do bear some fruit at the end of the day, and putting pressure on government, and making them basically use their own policy against them, to force the issue forward. And again, it came out with a positive result.
Excellent. Final topic: the RCMP. Well, actually, the Conservative government announced that they were going to start an RCMP task force being set up on tobacco, and this, of course, is going to affect Kahnawake as well as all of the other communities, Native communities. What do you think?
Well, first of all, I mean, this is nothing new. Now they're adding 50 more officers to an existing task force. Going back about 4 years ago, they set up different types of task force to address what they consider contraband tobacco, and start cracking down very heavily on cross-border and off the territory and outside Kahnawake, outside of Wet'suwet'en, but also in Montreal and other places. So yeah, definitely it's going to have an impact on our community in a roundabout way. As we've seen in the past few years, the industry has had a decline, and that's no secret to anybody. And this is in part to the efforts being exerted outside Kahnawake. So more officers dedicated to doing that type of work could further have a negative impact on our community. Again, we always have maintained that the way to address this issue is to have a law, of our own community law, to regulate tobacco, in which we could take big government and have an arrangement, a political arrangement with them to recognize the jurisdictions. And never mind, don't keep putting money in public security or public safety or policing to try to address this issue. It's a jurisdictional issue. Let's talk, face to face, and in the end of the day, the government would cost them a hell of a lot less if they had an arrangement with us on a political arrangement. and Ganawage could exercise our rights freely without having to look over your shoulder and whether or not somebody's going to be arresting you.
And everyone needs to kind of work together here to get that done.
Well, exactly. I mean, I know it may sound like a broken record at times, but council has maintained that for many years, saying we have to try to get this law in place. It's only going to benefit the people involved in industry. There's no major benefit to MCK. This is to protect and benefit the industry, people involved in it, so it can be legitimate. Like again, so you don't have to look over your shoulder. And if somebody's going to arrest you if you cross the border, if you want to go on vacation somewhere, or you're worried what's going to happen, this you could do your business and prosper and don't have to look over your shoulder.
All right, thanks, Lloyd.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.